Okay, I realize, you guys, that sometimes these word problems are a little bit artificial, that you would never run into them in life, but you're learning how to do principles that you need to learn how to use. So in spite of the fact it's a little artificial and you wouldn't use it in life, please learn the principles. That's what we're after. So let's look at this problem. It says, a coin collector has $2.15 in dimes and nickels. She has 5 more dimes than nickels. How many nickels does she have? Okay? What are the two things that we're dealing with here? Yeah, you're right, dimes and nickels. And what's our total amount of money that we have? Yeah, you got it, $2.15. So those are very important things in this problem. Let's go ahead and underline them so you can see it. We have $2.15, that's our total money, okay? And we have two kinds of coins. We have dimes and we have nickels, okay? And up here it tells us too, we have dimes and nickels. So if we're going to use those buckets like we did before, let's draw our buckets. You're going to have your dimes added to the money that's in nickels is going to equal your total money cost, okay? So let's fill in those buckets with something that makes sense. On the top of the bucket, we're going to have, what is the value of each coin? Okay, that's going to be on the top of the bucket. And remember, since we are dealing with $2.15, that's our total value, and it's in dollar notation with a decimal point, we're going to have to express the value of each coin in that same way. Our first bucket is going to be nickels. Our second bucket is going to be our dimes. Okay, so now we know which one it is. What's the value of a nickel? Yeah, I hear that. It's just 5 cents. Doesn't buy very much today. But we're going to express that in dollar notation, so it's 0.05. And then our dimes. What's the value of 1 dime? Yeah, 10 cents. We got it. That's an easy one. But again, we have to express it in dollar notation. So that's 0.10. And that makes your 10 cents in dollar notation. Let's go put those dollar signs in there so we know what we're dealing with. Now, how many of each coin do we have? That's our key. You know, sometimes when you're counting coins, you count them out and you stack them up. And you'll have a whole stack, maybe 25-cent pieces. And then you multiply the 20 times the 5, right, to get the total amount. This is the same concept. So how many nickels and how many dimes do we have? Well, it doesn't tell us you have 10 nickels and 5 dimes. What it does tell us is that there are 5 more dimes than nickels. Which one is the least amount? Yeah, you're right. It's the nickels. And that's really good because it's the nickels that we need to tell the answer to. So coming over here in our nickels, if we don't know the amount, what is the amount? Yeah, I know. You said it. It's that X. We like X's here. And then how many more dimes are there than nickels? Yeah, right up here is that very, very important word that tells us how many. Right there. 5 more dimes than nickels. So we have the number of nickels, which is our X, plus the number more that we have, which is 5. Okay? I'm going to write one more thing over here. I'm going to write nickels. Oh, I know. I'll write it underneath. I like that better because I may need that room for my equation. So we're going to write nickels under here, just to make sure we really know what it represents, is equal to X, and it's the number of nickels. And the number of dimes is our other one, and it is equal to my X plus 5. So now we know for sure what each one represents. Now we're ready for that equation. Again, remember the amount of money that is in nickels is your value of the nickel times the number of nickels. And I'm going to put number of coins here. So it's 0.05 times your X. and then that plus, because we're adding the two together. It's the value of a dime, which is 0.10, times my number of dimes, which is my x plus 5. And this is equal to my total value of money that I have, which is 2.15. Now, if you're like me, when I do things in my head, I really don't like using decimals a lot. So I'm going to change this so it's whole numbers. And I'm going to do that by multiplying every term by that 100, which is required to move that decimal 2 places. So 100 times 0.05 moves the decimal twice, making 5x, plus 100 times my 0.10, which is move it twice, making 10 times x plus 5. And then the last one, 100 times 2.15, moves that decimal twice, making 215. See, got rid of those decimals. I like to do it that way. You don't have to. I just like it that way. Now we're going to distribute, because we have to simplify through distribution before we can go any further. So we have our 5x comes down, plus 10 times x is 10x, plus 10 times 5 is 50, because that's positive, positive, making positive. And that equals to 215. Our next step is on this side of the equation. We have two terms that are the same, your 5x and your 10x, yeah? We're going to add those together because that's what it tells us to do. It says it's a plus, so we're going to add them, making a 15x plus the 50, because there's nothing to change it by adding or subtracting from it, equals 215. Now, I'm going to go write it up here to continue. 15x plus 50 equals 215. Now, we're going to get rid of our 50, because we want to get this term, the 15x, isolated by itself. Since it's a plus 50, you have to do the opposite, which is subtract 50, because positive 50 minus 50 produces that 0 that we're looking for, right? Now, if we do this one over here of minus 50, we must do the same to the other side. And again, subtracting this, we have 5. 21 minus 5 is 16. And we are ready. 15x equals 165. Okay? Now, what's our next step, guys? You've done it a lot. What do we need to do? What's our operation? Yeah, I hear that. Multiplication. How do we undo multiplication? What's the opposite operation? Division. Yeah, that's it. Division. So we're going to divide by the number that multiplies the x, because we want this to become a 1. 15 divided by 15 is 1. So that leaves us with 1x, or just plain x. And that's going to equal 15 into 165. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just do it on the side, because I don't have it in my head. 15 into 16 is 1. 15 subtract 1 and 5, 15. So this is 11. So my x equals 11. So what is x, guys? What is x? Let's find it. What is x? What does it tell you? Right over here. It says my nickels are x. What's my question? How many nickels does she have? That's what we want to know. We want to know those nickels. Well, what is it? That's right. It's x. So x is 11. So how many nickels does she have? She has 11 nickels. Word problems. You need to label them, because it tells what it is. It's not 11 apples. It's not 11 oranges. It's 11 nickels.